Hey traders, John Howell here, and I'm just going to give you guys a bit of a market update on the markets right now. Across the markets, we have just closed out another amazing week, so let's get straight into it. Don't place a trade based on what you'll see in this video because there is no guarantees of making a profit in the market. It takes you a long time to become a good trader. So this video here is just to educate you to become a much better trader. Alrighty traders, so let's get straight into the trading. Let's actually get into the markets this week. So I've actually made some really ballsy calls, especially here on YouTube. It was actually 3 days ago that I put a video out saying we're getting ready to have a move up and rocket ship, and oh man, here we go. If you guys have been watching these videos this week, right? And that's exactly what we've been getting, and I've been getting a lot of good buying bullishness moves out of these markets, and I've had a lot of people say, that's it, I'm short in the markets. Okay. So I just want to give you guys a bit of an update on what's happening in the markets right now, and what I'm expecting moving forward into next week. So looking at the Dow Jones has been one that's been very, very, very bullish across the markets. We definitely bounced off my longer term sort of trend line that I've had here for quite some time now. And you can see here that by looking at the markets here, and as you know, right, there's the thing about the market is we have trend analysis. Okay, so we have different trend analysis. So we have, you know, different lows and highs and so on and so forth. So if the market is in an upward trend, it's making higher highs and higher lows. If it's in a downward trend, it's making lower highs and lower lows. Excuse me. So that's in a downward trend, right? But what is a change of trend? A change of trend could be a race up to higher high and then make a higher low break past previous highs. So it makes a higher low, it makes a higher high first, then comes down, makes a higher low, but then breaks past previous highs. It must break past previous highs to start the upward trend. Otherwise, it could be just some sort of fake out. So we need, so the first sort of change of trend, this is reading the charts. This doesn't matter if you're looking at the Bitcoin or looking at the silver, gold, and so on and so forth. You're trying to understand what the market's doing. So firstly we have a lower high, lower high, lower high. Then we race up, we make a higher high, higher low, break past previous highs. So that's the first scenario you generally get with a change of trend in the markets. The second scenario is exactly what we got here on the good old DJ, the Dow Jones, is that we have a lower high, and another lower high, and we rally up and we make another lower high, but we get a slight higher low, and then we rally up. So this time we didn't get, see over here, we got lower high, lower high, lower high, and then we got the higher high, and then higher low, and then it took off, and then we generally start the upward trend there. In this scenario, we had lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, but notice the sellers could not break it below here. The buyers actually came in a bit earlier here. They couldn't break the low because it's lower highs breaking past previous lows. Make a lower low, lower high, breaking past previous lows. Lower low, lower high, breaking past previous lows. So this time we had a lower high and then a higher low, and then guess what? And then when we break past these previous, let me get that correct trend line there. When we break past this previous, man, I've got a fetish with blue today, don't I? Everything's blue. So we have a high, but look what happened here. The sellers couldn't break it back below here. On this here, so lower low, then it made a what? It made a higher low, and then the buyers are coming back in. And this is what I was watching here, because we had this low point down here, and then we had this other low point down here. So that was a higher low, or maybe even call it like a technical double bottom. Okay, either way, we're getting that bottoming scenario in the markets. So we can see that this is what we're getting right now, and then this is what gave me the confidence to it was this plus some other things that I'm looking at and so on and so forth. But to say, okay, guys, there's a lot of buying activity coming into these markets, right? We're getting a lot of, I'm getting a lot of bullishness in these markets where we are right now, and you know, traders, and so that's what's been happening through there, and you can see how that. Look what happened here. So we had a lower high, and then another lower high. Well, look what happened here. We made a what? A higher low, or even a double bottom, if you want to call it, but it's actually a technical double bottom, or a actual higher low. Then guess what happened? Recently, it broke past this high through here. So because it actually ran down, ran up, ran down, ran up, ran down, and then now see the change of trend. See how this scenario here is this scenario here in the Dow Jones is giving us the change of trend here on the daily charts. It's giving us a change of trend like scenario number 2 here. So we have scenario number 1, which is the change of trend here, which is that's that one there, and then number 2. So this is actually more like number 2, where we actually get the lower high, but the sellers for some reason couldn't actually break the previous lows. And so then therefore the buyers, and this is the market talking. This is actually a very, 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 very key point in the markets, and you'll notice this time and time and time again in the markets. And then it's like when the markets do this, suddenly we get that higher low, and then we actually start to make some big moves. Let me actually give you an example here on the futures market, because I really want to teach you guys this about trading. So no matter what market you're looking at, because as a trader, right, we're always adapting to what is happening in the markets. We're never static. Don't be ever static in the markets. I have a view. If I'm reading the markets, I'm trying to get a good understanding of what's going on in the markets. I'm reading the markets as is today, but 2, 3, 4 days later, the market's painting more bars, and it's continue to tell stories. And we must not be static with that story, right? So it's like reading. It's like reading a book and staying on one page and like, okay, well, I know the story. It's like, no, the story's always changing, right? Because, especially if you guys have read Wolf of Wall Street. Actually, I listened to that book, Wolf of Wall Street, and yeah, it was actually pretty. It's actually a really good book, especially the guy who read it. So the thing that I'm looking at here, so let me just share this with you here, okay? Because it's actually, there's a lot of really, really, really interesting things that happen. So let me just share this with you here. And oh, by the way, traders, if this is me doing the market updates and so on and so forth, but if you really want to learn how to do this properly, if you really want to learn like a really good trading system, and get access to me as your coach, and as you can see, I know my stuff, right? Like I've been calling bullish all this week, and then so I know my stuff. If you want a system that gives you a really good high win-loss ratio, no matter what system you're looking at, and if you want the opportunity to have me as your coach to coach you for the rest of this year, then go to johnsfreetraining.com, the very first link in the description, click on that, go join my next webinar. The first 60 minutes of that webinar, I'm actually just teaching you everything about what to do to stop losing money. Then I'm going to teach you all the details about my trading system. Then I'm going to teach you my scanning process, how I actually scan the markets to find amazing opportunities in the markets, not just the Dow Jones, the S&P, but all the stocks. And then I've got a few little extra key amazing training bonuses in there as well too. And then I'm also going to give you the opportunity to have me as your coach every day, coaching you every day to make sure that you're getting this right, and so on and so forth. So I'm running that today, guys. So very first thing in the description, I'll go to Johns, Johns, freetraining.com. Go do that right now. So remember I said before about the market changing trend and so on and so forth, right? So if we actually have a look at this here, this is actually the futures market last night. Look at this hourly chart. Where are we here? All right. Look at that. Just beautiful. Look at these beautiful higher lows, right? Higher lows. But I wanted to share this with you here, because I also do trade the futures market as well too. But I noticed this back here, right? So let me zoom back in. Look what happened here. And again, this is about reading the market. As you can see, I just went to the stock market. Now I'm going to the futures market. But it doesn't matter what market you're looking at, or even what chart. I'm looking at a 15-minute chart here, but it's all about reading the patterns, right? So you can see here we have a low, a lower high, an equal high, sort of that through there. But look what happened here. The market came down, made a high, made a low. Okay, then we came down and made a higher low. And look what happened. As soon as we did what? As soon as we broke past those previous highs, which also went inside of breaking past key levels of resistance, then we started to what? Then we started to make a move to the upside. So the big key here that I'm trying to drive home for you is that it's never about what I think. Okay, what I think doesn't actually really mean anything. And what did the futures market do? What a beautiful setup there. What about the NQ? Oh, look at the NQ. Let's go to the 5-minute chart. Let's actually see there. Nothing on there. What a beautiful hourly chart. Look at that there. Beautiful, beautiful hourly chart. What about the Russell? Oh, and we're still running right now after hours. You can see this is actually after hours and we're still running right now. ES, the YM. YM had a very nice move today as well too. So a lot of buying coming into these markets, guys. So things are looking quite good. So let me take this off the screen now. And so traders, that's one of the reasons why it's not about me, it's about me, okay, seeing and being present with the markets. Okay, I'm getting a lot of buying here right now. And we may not be heading down. We may just be getting ready to have a buy. And as soon as we started to pop to the upside, creating this high low, then I'm like, okay, things are changing through here. And as you can see from the futures market is still making some moves. The S&P 500, again, similar thing, but it's got a low. Now we've got a double bottom in the markets. And again, this day right here, I came out and said, okay, guys, things are changing right now. The buyers are coming in, and oh man, here we go. And I even did a video yesterday saying, oh man, here we go. No, not yesterday, a couple of days ago. And then that's what's happening so far. And now if we have a look at the Dow Jones, we're getting breaking of key major levels of support and resistance, breaking of that. That's a very bullish sign. So not only are we breaking out of a significant resistance, not only are we breaking out of a significant area of support, and then we break out. Remember I said before, this is actually like a false breakout. It's a false breakout to the downside. John, it's called a false breakdown. It's like, really? To me, it's okay. I'm going to call it a breakout, okay? Because the way that I see it, it's actually breaking out of this support level. But then it actually broke down, false breakout, okay? And then guess what? We got a complete reversal. Look what's happening here on the Dow Jones. We're getting a complete reversal now, breaking above not only this area of, which has been a major level of support. And that person, I hope you're watching this right now. There was a person that I did when I did the video 2, 3, maybe even at the start of the week, where I'm like, guys, we're getting ready to get this buying. It looks like it's going to start to kick in again. There was one person that said, how could the market break through strong areas of resistance? I just can't see that happening. It just doesn't make sense to me. And that's the big thing, right? Just because you have a major level of support doesn't mean the market won't give you a fake out. Okay, and that's what the market did here, right? It came down and got a lot of people short, and now we're getting ready to the upside. And as you guys know, for the last few weeks, I've been talking about the fear and greed index, how we're getting really fearful, how I'm expecting a bottom real soon, how we're going to start to race to new highs over the next couple of months. I just don't know when the bottom's going to be in, so be very careful. I'm very bullish these markets, but we could get a bit more downside, etc. Right? I've been saying that. And then when we started to get the buying activity, it's like, here we go, and away we go from here, right? So we're getting a very strong move. We're also getting a break of this level through here, and we're getting a very strong move out of the Dow Jones now. So it doesn't mean it's going to be up. It doesn't mean we're going to have a very strong week next week, or we may. But there's two scenarios that I see happening here moving into next week. The first scenario is that we may get a bit of a pullback here first, and then we move up. Or this whole move here is just part of one big slingshot pattern, right? Because now we're changing trend. This whole thing is now changing trend. High, higher, low, breaking up. We may be just getting ready to continue to do this. And before you know it, people are just going to be so surprised. Before you know it, come the end of this month and we're at all-time new highs. Oh, John, that can't happen. Really? What about this move back here? Right? Just this big move here, big move here. So I also think there's more of a probability of a bit of a pullback first and then a breakout. But there's so much bearishness in these markets that I wouldn't be too surprised to see this market move up and just crush, absolutely crush any shorts that are in these markets. Moving over now through to the S&P 500, and we can see that same thing for the S&P 500. Let me take that off the screen there. On the S&P 500, we definitely did have a lot of areas of support. And if I'm looking at there, I'm just looking at this recent area. Notice this here. Okay, notice how we had all this support level through there. We had that support level there, that support level there, that support. So see how it's more like an area, right? And then look what happened. We had a bit of a flush down through here. And then we look at this here. We stayed below it. And then now look what's happening. We're breaking back up. And now we're getting what? A low, higher low. And now we're breaking past these previous highs. So we're getting a very, very, very strong move out of these markets. And the markets is going exactly the way that I thought. I just didn't know when the market was going to bottom. But at the start of this week, when I saw the market bottoming, that's when I started doing videos, as you guys would know, saying, here we go. And that's exactly what has happened. Again, guys, if you'd like to learn more about how I actually trade the markets, go to Johns, JOHNS, freetraining.com, johnsfreetraining.com. On there, I'll teach you exactly how I train. And if you'd like to have me as your coach to help you with things like this for the rest of this year, then on that webinar, I'm going to give you an opportunity as well to join my Inner Circle coaching program, where I'll give you my scanning process, and I'll give you my scanner that cost me $10,000 to make. I'll give you my number one trading strategy, and I'll be there coaching you every single day for the rest of this year. If you would like that, then I'm opening up a few spots today. So go join the webinar today, and I'll see you over there. See if you're and if you're a good fit, then you might be able to be part of my Inner Circle with my private clients. That I'm there every single day and also every single week helping them. So we have this level bottom, now we're breaking out. So there's two scenarios once again what I see here. Again, this actually just might be a slingshot pattern, and we start to do something like this. And again, by the end of the month, which to me, I doubt that that's going to happen. We may even get a bit of a pullback soon. We're not oversold yet. Okay, we're not oversold. We're still in normal territory. We're not oversold. We were getting oversold through here. So again, I wouldn't be too surprised to see the slingshot move and start to see literally within the next, maybe by the end, maybe by the end of the month, right? All-time new highs. It's just pretty crazy to actually see what the market's doing through there. Same through the Nasdaq as well too. So if we have a look at the good old Nasdaq, okay, so the Nasdaq actually just came down to these levels of support, so it didn't really do much there. And the Nasdaq definitely did break out to the downside through here, and now we're actually breaking to the upside. So the big thing that I was talking about at the start of the week was that the old school of thought is if someone is just reading from a textbook, they see different triangle patterns and they say, well, this is what the market's going to do based off this triangle pattern. And it's never, ever, ever the case. The way the market has been changing ever since those textbooks have been written, which is like maybe 100 years ago or something, is I've been talking about how the different triangle patterns, the different patterns in the markets, is that we have like a descending triangle pattern, which simply means the market found a support, but it just keeps making these lower highs, and squeezing up into a pattern. It doesn't mean it's definitely going to break down, because sometimes we get the break out, and you can see that's exactly what's happening here on the Dow Jones, right? So we have a high, a lower high, and then we've got this bit of a double bottom right now, and now we're actually just right at that, actually that a bit of a double top through there on the Nasdaq. So, and futures markets are really strong after hours. That's, yeah. So we got that, and so then so we may get a bit of a pullback here first, but then we get that again, but we're not in the oversold territory, so it wouldn't surprise me to see this being part of a slingshot move. And the big thing here, let me actually see if no, we don't have it there. The big look at this big thing I'm noticing on the end. This is actually really interesting. You'll notice this point here. Notice this here. Notice how we actually had like a bit of a, not much, But see how it actually gapped up a little bit, and just like it gapped up and actually pulled back to close the gap. But it had a little bit of a breakaway, what I call a breakaway gap there. So that's actually quite bullish in the markets through there. Let's go have a look at the Russell 2000. And the Russell 2000 is getting very, very close now. I can take that off the screen. But it's getting very, very, very close. They're getting back inside of this channel and having a race to the upside. So everything is starting to work out the way that I saw it in my mind, especially for the last couple of months. I just didn't know when the bottom was going to come in. But when I started to see it at the start of this week, that's when I started saying, oh man, here we go. This is what I've been waiting for. And I don't know, I may even title that for this video. And so looking at the good old gold market as well too, gold is getting a very, very, very good sort of strong pullback through here. Let's have a look at this here from gold. Let's have a look at it from a Fibonacci perspective. What are we looking at there? Okay, so we're around that 50 to 60% level there. So very interesting with gold. On the short-term basis there, guys, I'm not getting really any strong reading through here. But I do see, even if we got a bit more downside, a bit more downside, but maybe not even that. The big thing I'm looking out for is, let me actually just bring this up through to here, this one here, right? So let me take this off the screen. The big thing I'm focusing on is this here, is the moving average. So I use a 52 moving average, and people are like, is that a 52-day moving average? Here's the thing, traders. If I'm using a 52 moving average and I'm using a day chart, well, obviously it's a 52-day moving average, right? Don't think about the ladder. Don't think about 52 and then, oh, is it a 52-day? If it's on a daily chart, then it's a 52, right? But if I change it to a weekly chart, now it's a 52 on a weekly chart. If it's an hourly chart, it's a 52 on an hourly chart. So then we have this low. And so now we're possibly getting a higher low through here, and we're getting for the very first time in a long time, you'll notice if I squeeze my charts up, notice how it's been, the 52 moving average has really been quite flat. It hasn't, you can see here, see how it's just been doing this, right? We haven't been strong trending down, strong trending up, but now look what's happening. It's starting to get a very strong moving average trending up. So I do believe coming into this here, that we may get this, and then we're probably going to start to see a nice move back up, because it looks like there's going to be a turning point coming soon out of these markets through there. And so, yeah, it's looking really, really, really good. I believe the turning point is going to start to come soon, maybe even next week, before they're seeing another leg up. Now, once that happens, then the big picture is, once we start to break above this level through here, and we start to get back above this 2000, that's the big picture. The big picture is just, again, my target is that once we get out of this, once we start to really break out of this 2100 and we have this really just not much going on for a while, the move is just going to be like, excuse me. If you watched yesterday's video, I did a rocket ship at the start of the video, right? Intraday rocket ship. Man, gold is just, talk about rocket ship. Gold is just going to take off like an absolute just crazy. Again, my target is 3,000 there on gold through there. And it's actually really interesting too, like talking about like target projections and so on and so forth. I came out and I did my target video that I did. And let me just bring this up through to here for a minute. So let me... So this was the video that I did here, and it was actually, I did this at the start of the week, even when the S&P was basically at 4,200, and then I started making some calls on the S&P, and if I just bring this over here, and then as you can see, I did my price targets for S&P and gold 22. Most call me crazy, and then I said I believe that we're going to be making our way up to around 5,500. And I did this video at the start of the week, which is actually quite crazy and quite ballsy of me, especially in the face of everything that was going on. And as you can see from looking at this video now, ever since I did this at the start of the week by saying we're getting ready for a 5,500 target, what the market has done is just done this, it's just done that. So, man, I may have actually picked the bottom from actually by doing this video. I may have picked the bottom, which actually makes me makes me look pretty good. But in all fairness, that was just lucky. We could have got another leg down, but my overall target is 5,500. Again, we may be getting ready for that slingshot move that's happening right now in the markets there. So, that was actually the big thing there. Let's go have a look at silver as well too. Same thing with silver as well too. That silver actually had a bit of a break to the upside, but now we're getting a pullback. Let me take that off the screen there for a minute. And actually the really interesting thing is we actually did get that rejection. I did a video yesterday saying we're going to get if the market rejects off this level, then we're probably going to get a bit of a pullback. And I talked about this hourly chart, and that's exactly what has happened. You guys remember that video I did yesterday, right? We had this lower high, and I'm like, guys, we need to break above this. If not, we're going to start to get a bit of a pullback, and then we didn't. And now we're getting a bit of a pullback through there. So we're not as oversold on silver. I'd like to see silver have just a little bit more pullback, and then start to get like a bit more down to the 52. That'll give us a bit more of a short-term oversold, and then we're probably going to get a bounce from there because now we've actually changed the trend. The trend has now started. As you can see, we had this high and then we had this low, but there wasn't really any true trend, right? There wasn't any strong trend. I mean, there wasn't a good strong higher lows, higher highs, lower lows, lower highs. Sometimes you just get this here, which is just rubbish, right? It's just like, okay, it's not doing anything. There's no trend at all. This is the worst time to trade because it's like, yeah. But we now rallied up. Now we're getting a pullback. I'm expecting this, and then I'm expecting that to come as well too, and then a big breakout that's happening through there as well. Maybe over now through to the mining sector. And the mining sector right now, to me, is just building up a bit of a sideways range. So we're building up a bit of a steam through here, and might go sideways for a little bit here just to build up a bit of energy. But then I see GDX having a very nice big breakout soon as well too. Because I actually I'm not in the GDX, but I'm in the GDXJ. I have been now for a while. And the same thing for the GDXJ. The GDXJ is actually looking really, really, really nice. So I'm actually probably going to be adding here soon. I've been waiting for a really good strong signal to add in to my longer term investing position. And we're getting this now, a bit of a sideways range. So I'm probably going to start to add to my longer term visit. I'm probably going to be add to the GDXJ because the GDXJ is actually setting up quite nicely. We're just not there yet when it comes to the oversold. We need just a little bit more sideways range through here. If we can get that next week, maybe just spend next week just doing not much. We may get into a little bit more of an oversold, short-term oversold, which is then going to catapult this thing to the upside. Looking at the SIL, and the SIL has just been a bit of a lackluster. It hasn't actually picked up yet, but we do have, on a short-term basis, we do have this resistance level now coming into play through here. As you can see, that this whole resistance and it's squeezing up. Now a bit of a sideways range. So what we want to see out of the SIL is that we want to see this thing maybe just do this, and then we want to see a very strong breakout bar with maybe like that'll be the volume for that day, and then we want to see a really big increase in volume with this bar here. If that's the case, higher low, now breaking out, there's a really good chance we're going to do something like this. And we're going to start to race to this other high up here as well too. Because then we would actually be getting above this major resistance that's even rejected it once, twice, and then even 3 times through here on the recentness, just in the last recent week or two. So once we get that, we could start to see a very nice move to the upside. And let's go to the SILJ. And the same thing for the SILJ as the gold mining stocks. We've actually had a very nice move up. So we're not there yet for an oversold territory yet, but if we can get a bit more of a sideways range here next week, get a bit of sideways range, we'll get a short-term sort of oversold level, and then we could actually see some really, really, really nice upward movement from there. So there we go, traders. I hope this helped you out. Once again, traders, if you are struggling with your trading this week and you've been seeing, obviously you can see like my calls, I've been pretty ballsy with my calls and things have been working out really, really well, then I know I can help you. And if you are struggling right now and if you are losing money right now, then this is what you need to do right now. You need to go to Johns, JOHNS, freetraining.com, johnsfreetraining.com. And then on that free training, the very first 60 minutes is I'm just going to be teaching you exactly. Secret number 1 is all about teaching you exactly what to do, how I went from losing money to making money to becoming a full-time trader. Secret number 2 is all about the trading system. Secret number 3, 4, and and a whole lot more is going to be, it's going to really help you in understanding how to actually trade these markets, how to read these markets. And then also I'm going to show you my scanning process. And then I'm going to give you the opportunity, if you want me as your coach, to actually coach you every day. The stuff that I'm doing right now, but more coaching you whenever you actually need that help. I'm there to help you every day. Then I'm going to give you the opportunity on that as webinar as well too. But I'm running that today, guys. So go do that right now, and I'll see you in the next video.